Show away the Irish. Show away the Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to a bye-week edition of Spygate. We got Spygate going on with Michigan. We got all this. Notre Dame broke USC. We're on the bye, and I'm just sitting back with my popcorn, and I'm watching everybody break. Notre Dame absolutely broke USC. It's just been chaos for them ever since this game with Williams and NFL questions. And is Lincoln Riley going to leave with Caleb Williams to go somewhere? And he's putting out feelers. You got all that going on. And here we are just trying to regrow John's hair on the bye. And I'm watching all this go on. I love it, man. I love it. And I see that I'm taking some shots in here for partnering up with Ohio State on my hatred for Michigan. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. So there's a lot going on, but really, here's the main point. I hope like hell everybody is enjoying the bye and having a week without the game stress, because it's going to come back strong, man. Enjoy this. I am so looking forward to tomorrow. To just have a bunch of good games that have national importance, where I have a rooting interest one way or the other, and Notre Dame doesn't play. I'm ready for it. I need it. Give it to me. I'm ready for that. Just give me this one day to not have to worry about Notre Dame and to be able to root for and against everything else that I want to root for and against. Bring back Charlie Weiss says the NCAA is ridiculous. You are 100% correct. That organization is incompetent at worst and negligent on purpose at best. They are horrible. They're horrible. They think they're more important and a bigger deal than they are. Their priorities are messed up. They do nothing with consistency. There's no consistency with anything they do. They end out punishment willy-nilly. One person gets nailed, the other gets away with murder. It just makes they should not even be involved in Division I college football anymore. I really hope when that 12-teamer gets going and all that stuff. I really hope when all that when we get into the 12-team format and it's more refined and all that they need their own board of directors or whatever with the NDAD and a bunch of other people. And then you tell the NCAA, you're already not involved in the playoff at all. You're not even involved in this at all. Go navigate all the other crap and just let us do the football, because you're not good at it. They're terrible at it. That doesn't mean I'm not enjoying Harbaugh and his issues. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Both could be true. I want to see him have problems and the Michigan people freak out. And I agree the NCAA is terrible. It ain't one or the other. It's both. It's both. So anyways, welcome into the bye, Friday of the bye. And I'm excited, man. It's the first time all year I get to watch football without Notre Dame stress and have to do a show after, and I could actually relax. Give me a break. All right, YouTube, obviously you're here. You know where to find me. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. Notifications, and that way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishandy@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it the call-in lines. 312-900-8815. Tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Instagram, Facebook. Bro, I can't get the technology to work, man. Every single thing I try and do and get going, there's a technology hang up. I'm caught up on the Google merchandise account to where it isn't syncing with YouTube and it's getting flagged. I got to figure out how to run this Google merch account and have everything set up so the show will, I don't know, something's wrong in the settings. Then got on Instagram. Oh, that's where the modern people are. Post your commercials and all this stuff. So then I do that, and now no videos post on Instagram. The pictures will post, but the Instagram videos aren't posting. They look fine, and you hit post, and they never show up. Give me a break. Anybody know how to fix this crap? I'll give you money. It's just annoying. The Google merch account. Anybody an expert in that? And it loads an Instagram video. I put the caption. I hit post. Keep refreshing. It never shows up. You know, it's one step forward, 18 back. Hopefully that's not what Notre Dame does out of the bye. Jeez. Anyways, that's where I'm at. Anyways, yeah, you're flowing like ND's offense, bro. Yeah, tell me about it. That's another thing we got to talk about today, by the way. That's another thing we need to talk about, by the way, is that Notre Dame offense. I don't know what is reasonable or not to expect coming out of this bye. That's another thing. I don't know, you guys. I don't know how that's going to go. I know Notre Dame fans and myself, everybody's writing their articles, and I did too. What do you need to see? Oh, you got to figure out the offense coming out of the bye. I want to know how realistic it is to expect noticeable improvement. Noticeable. Did you turn it on and off again? I'm embarrassed to even tell you this, bro. I don't even have the app. It's on my laptop. I do all this stuff from my laptop, not my little phone. I want to see what's going on and have more space. I do all of this from my desktop, and it's like the Facebook business account where they're blended, and you could do one post and it goes to everywhere. So I don't even have the thing on the app on my phone. It's just on the internet. Is it plugged in? Is my brain plugged in? Maybe I should start there. All right, we got a few calls, and I'm going to try and listen. The bye week's been different. I have felt Notre Dame fans need a break. My numbers are down, like the live shows, the amount of calls. It's all, listen, people need a break. People that are here for every game have not been here this week. There's people that message me, John, I love you. I need a break. And I totally understand it because I've needed a break too. So I get that. So I'll try and get to the calls sooner. Like, it's a little bit of everything. The final day of the bye. Bring it wherever you want to bring it. Okay. So let's do a couple super chats and I'll bring the calls up and then I'll get into some of my stuff. Pat with the $5 holler. Questions for a Friday. Predictions for the remaining 4 games. If ND goes 9-3, what would your feelings be on this season, assuming a Clemson loss? Not good enough. It's not good enough then. A lot of people are going to argue 10-2 isn't good enough. Think about this, man. If you go 9-3 with the loss to Clemson, that means in back-to-back years, you're taking 2 out of 3 losses to the big 3, and it was supposed to be the year you flipped that because you had Hartman in here and a real quarterback and all that, and it's year 2 and you show that improvement. My preseason prediction in USA Today was 10-2 with leeway up 1 and down 1 due to life circumstances in football. And one of those could be you ran into a firestorm at Louisville at the worst time for you when they were peaking and you were out of gas. Football circumstance, not an excuse to lose it, but a reason that helps you make you understand why. Okay? So 9-3 ain't good enough. Then if you have the same record against the big three 2 years in a row, and we are supposed to get this improvement, that ain't gonna sit right. That you got to get that 10-2, and you got, by the way, also you got to win one of these major bowl games. Like, we're not going to the playoff. That's out. It ain't gonna happen. I get all that. The best you could do now is go 10-2 and knock that big bowl game thing off. That's the last of your big picture goals. That's the most that's possible out of this year because of what's already happened. But I can't get down with 9-3 with you going 1-2 against the big three again 2 years in a row. People are going to ask, where's the progress? You could debate whether that's fair or not, but that's what it's going to be, and that's what it's going to feel like to me, to have the same record against the big three back-to-back years when you allegedly improved at quarterback. I don't know if that's good enough for a lot of people. It will not sit right with me. You got to get to 10-2 here, and you blew that one against Louisville you couldn't blow. You could afford to lose to Ohio State, ignoring the way it was and what was there for Notre Dame that they didn't take advantage of. You could lose to Ohio State close as your one loss, navigate the rest, and be in playoff position. That's out. Louisville killed you. You don't have any more leeway. You got to go 10-2. I'm not going to be able to look at that as a success if you upgrade a quarterback and end up with the same record against the top three teams. I can't handle that. That Clemson game is huge. What a big surprise. Notre Dame has games coming up that are the biggest games in the world and matter and all that. Here we go again. And nobody should take Clemson for granted. They're not what they were when they were winning the playoff games and add Lawrence and add the D-line and those badass wide receivers. They're not that anymore. But that's going to be a physical, tough battle at Death Valley. Loud environment. Notre Dame's played worse on the road. The offensive line's played way worse on the road. There's a lot going into that. Clemson may have that mentality we had when they came to our place last year. They may have the same attitude we had going to their place. The year's ruined. We're not playing for anything national. Everybody's telling us we suck. Now we're mad. We're going to take it out on somebody, try and beat somebody up. That's what it felt like Notre Dame did 1 year ago. They're going to be in a similar position. And they're frustrated that everybody's saying they're all over the hill and not good anymore. It's going to be a physical battle. Even if I don't think they're a great team, it's going to be a physical, tough game. $2 holler from Steven Arado. Muck Fishigan, enjoy the bite. Dude, I don't like Ohio State or Michigan. I'm going to enjoy when either one of them has an issue. That isn't my problem. Are you out of your mind? Oh, John, that's immature. Yeah, so what? So what? Any amount of stress Michigan people go through warms my heart. My blood pressure goes down when theirs goes up. I'll never apologize for it. Oh, does that mean you love Ohio State? Hell no. I don't like anybody. Equal opportunity here. $10 holler from the V1 Rotate. Looking forward to poverty Penn State taking an L. We can finally sit back and not have to worry about having a stroke watching ND play. Our hairline and mental health needed this. Have a beer on me. V1. 100%. That is exactly where I'm at. That is exactly where I'm at. Like, and the Penn State thing, listen, I say it every week, until proven otherwise. Penn State is Notre Dame under Brian Kelly until they prove they're more than that. Pretty good recruiting, but not elite. Beat most of the teams they should beat, and then lose in the biggest moments against the best teams with the chance to change the national dynamic. They are Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, till I see that they're not. So I can't pick them to beat Ohio State. Are you out of your mind? You got to prove it. They don't win these big games. They haven't won these big games. If they do, I'm happy to give them credit, but I'm not picking them till I see them win one. Really annoying, dude. They get ranked high every year, beat a bunch of bad teams. I want to see a beat Michigan, Ohio State, and then they fall on their face. And they don't help anybody ruin those guys' seasons. Tom Chris, 2488, $10 holler. How's it going, John? Nice to have a weekend with no stress. Run the table or bust. Great seeing you guys at the tailgate event, by the way. Hope you're doing well. It is run the table or bust. That's the position you put yourself in. I think 10-2 is that limit of where it has to be for Notre Dame fans to really be confident and feel like, all right, this thing's heading up and we're feeling like comfortable about it. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Charlie Weiss is bringing back what's going on. Bob Alvey, C. Jones, always our senior. Nice to have Pops in the house. And the drunk, of course, the drunk's here and crying. You got to have crying here. 202, we're talking to you. We got a few calls early. I'm going to get to all you guys. This is a bye week. Bring it wherever you want. 202, we got a 937-707-574 going to be the first ones up. 202, we're talking to you. What's going on a bye? Angela Rudiger, good to have you here. Good to have a Rudiger in the house. What's going on? Good morning.
Hey, Don. Happy Friday. Happy off week.
I'm telling you,
I've got a bit of an off week smorgasbord.
I needed this I needed it so bad. And I'm a guy that benefits when there's Notre Dame stuff to talk about. And I'm even saying I need a timeout. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow to just have a day to watch football without my hair falling out. I can't wait.
Well, you bring me to one of my points. I've got a smorgasbord for you today. You can cut me off whenever, but something I don't think is being talked about enough with regard to what happened with Louisville. The boys were in the middle of one of the top 3 hardest stretches in college football this whole season. Yep. I think the one that USC faces now is perhaps number 1. But we certainly are in the top 3 of that discussion. And as much as it was an OC and a little bit DC failure on Notre Dame's part, perhaps Marcus wasn't doing the right messaging or motivating. I don't know, but something that's not being spoken about enough is that I kind of think it was a failure of scheduling.
Okay.
Well, that was just a dumb idea.
All right. I have, even before the season in the summer, when we were breaking down the schedule, I said, I don't know what these teams are all going to look like, but it is borderline irresponsible that you don't have a bye till after week 8 with all of the biggest games of the year that'll dictate what's possible in that stretch. It was really, really rough. Bad idea. Navy messed it up and whatever. It was bad. However, that is what it is. And I don't want to beat that dead horse anymore. It was like 4 Super Bowls in a row. Ohio State at night undefeated, Duke at night undefeated, Louisville at night undefeated, and then USC at home undefeated. That is an unbelievable stretch. And even though it wasn't your Super Bowl.
It was reckless.
Even though it wasn't your Super Bowl all those weeks, you were in a Super Bowl all those weeks. Does that make sense? I'm saying that very specifically. Even though all of those moments were not our Super Bowl, we ended up in 4 in that stretch. And I've heard national guys go, you know what happened to Notre Dame? Football happened. And you ran into it and you were low, they were high, you were out of gas, they were on their gas. However, that can't be an excuse to lose. It could be a reason to be in a brutal stretch, but you can't let the reason leak over to be an excuse that makes it okay to lose. So where do you fall then with all that?
It's not an excuse, but I think where my heart lies on this, I have compassion for the players. That's what I mean. Yeah. They were put through this stretch because Swarbrick wanted the Navy game. We all wanted the Navy game. And then, I don't think he was thinking of the players. I don't know if it could have been done differently. Schedules are set.
Yeah.
2 years.
Okay, now wait a second.
Wait.
Now I got to go. A couple of these chatters are saying Louisville's barely a fringe 25 caliber team. Did anybody think Duke and Louisville are or would be that good? What I'm saying, though, is
yes, we did.
We knew they were going to be tough. I did not know they'd both be undefeated. I thought Duke would lose to Clemson early, and Louisville, I don't think anybody took quite that seriously in year 1 of a new regime. I agree with that. However, though, Whatever they're going to turn into or be by the end of the year doesn't matter compared to what mind frame they were in when playing us. That is a big difference. They were undefeated, flying high, championship dreams. Like, we got those teams at their absolute peak. Whatever they're going to turn into, they're going to turn into. But the moment we were in was huge from their side, and they were away night games, and that's tough. Not an excuse to lose it. I'm just giving you where we were at.
Yeah, and I don't think day versus night is scheduled 2 years in advance. And I hear what the people in the chat are saying on that. It is, though, you know, it was 2 road games in a row after Ohio State, and then USC staring you in the face when you get back from your road trip. It was asking a lot of the guys. And then again, we are not replowing this ground, but it was definitely a failure on at least one of the coordinator's parts. So a corollary to this that no one is, I'm pretty sure, talking about, not only was it their 8th game in a row, their 4th night game in a row against a ranked team, they had to take midterms before the USC game.
Yeah,
I'm not sure when's the last time that happened.
It was bad. It was just bad planning. And I understand if the Navy thing threw it off, it's irresponsible. And it's just, oh, John, you can't control your schedule that much. What do you want him to do? All I'm saying is all the other teams we play have conveniently located buys, and we don't. Is it just the conference thing? Because Ohio State didn't play the week after Notre Dame for a reason. They made sure they weren't playing the week after they played us to recover from being high or low, or at a minimum physically a little worn down from that physical emotional game. You got to navigate that better. You have to. Scheduling is an art form, and you got to be better at that moving forward. It was brutal. But now you lost to Louisville. You got to go 10-2 for this to be a really strong year. Don't you agree? Nobody's here for 9-3. Nobody's here for that.
Nobody's here for 9-3, including this team. I do not think this team loses again, barring, half the team getting the stomach flu or something Clemson week. Clemson isn't that good. They're soft. I still giggle every time I see number 1 Will Shipley. And what the disaster that could have been. And we picked up Audric, and I just can't wait for Audric to eat his lunch. I don't think we lose again. I'm aghast that someone actually not only chatted, but super chatted, assuming a Clemson loss. Oh my gosh, can we just not throw that energy out to the universe, please? Don't even say that out loud.
But you can't.
No, I don't think
you can't go 1-2 against the big 3 last year. Allegedly upgrade the offense and have Hartman and all that, and we're all feeling. And then you do the same thing again this year. That isn't going to fly. That people want to see that flipped. Clemson's going to be a tough environment. You got to find a way to get that one. You just have to, and you got to come out of the bye and be ready to go against Pitt and look a lot sharper in a lot of areas. Like, those are just what I need coming out of this.
A lot of predictions coming into the season were that Notre Dame would lose one of the big 3, and then we would lose a game we shouldn't lose because of the structure of the schedule.
Right.
So we're kind of on track with that. And again, Clemson lost to Duke. And yeah, Duke's a good team, but Clemson is riddled with 4 and 5 stars. So the talent gap between those two teams is enormous. They lost. Brett Venables is gone. Their defense is not what it was. And I think Audric runs all over them. That's what I think.
I love
10-2. It has to be 10-2. And yeah, that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's
got to be 10-2.
It really does. And then we see what's up in the postseason where you might match up or whatever. It'd be nice if you could knock off that big game thing. But the back end of this schedule lines up for Notre Dame a lot easier than the front. Okay, you have the bye, then you have Pitt at home coming out of the bye, Clemson away, then you get to reset again before the final 2 weeks. You got to get these next 2 games, and then you're in the home stretch, and you can see that finish line of 10-2. But Notre Dame's got to come out and look a lot more put together offensively out of this bye. And I just don't know what level of improvement is fair of me to expect after this bye. I don't know if it's limitations with the personnel that aren't going to get any better, or structurally what they could do. Notre Dame fans want to see that offense look a lot more efficient. And I don't know if we are or not, but we need it.
We saw a little bit of creativity in the running game, and that was fun. I think the USC game plan was a lot more. It wasn't vanilla. It was pretty designer, but also not too cute. And I look to that as now Jared Parker sees he can do that and sees what the players can do. And now maybe he'll be more confident not running the same, run into the A gap running play 60 times in a row. That's my hope. Moving on. The thing with Caleb that no one is talking about, leaving aside the probably Notre Dame student that got a selfie with him.
Yeah.
The coaches were leading Caleb off the field with 1:30 to go because he's too special to shake any Notre Dame player's hand.
Yeah.
You know what, kid? That entitlement and that superiority that you put on and that your coaches wrap you in.
Yeah.
That's going to be your downfall. And that is why we don't like you.
Yeah.
And I don't care what,
Nope, you're
if
right.
your nails are pink, you do you, but you act like you're Tom Brady, and guess what? You're not. And don't worry about going to the Bears anymore, pumpkin, because you're not the number one pick. Yeah. Good. Moving on.
It is wild, but nobody here's the thing. If you're going to be a front runner and do the crown and do the nails, FND, if you're going to do all that and be that guy, go for it. That you are entitled to that. You're at a place that encourages that, where that's the culture. However, if you do that and you put yourself out there to that level and then it goes bad.
And then you throw 3 picks in one half.
And then it goes bad. You have got to expect some backlash and you got to be willing to take it. You are not allowed to just be that front runner when all the times are good. And then when it goes bad, expect people to treat you like they do everybody else. No, that's not how it works. There is a risk to being that flashy and that guy who has a celebration that's him putting a crown on his head. Bro, if you're living that way, you got to take it when it goes bad. You don't just get to do it on the high end. Them blocking all of us on Twitter and privating all their accounts so nobody can question them. That's exactly why nobody likes USC. They are front runners who are only there when times are good and they don't know how to handle it when things go bad on them. And I love it. And they have a brutal stretch of games. They had Notre Dame, then they have Utah. I believe they have Washington, Oregon, and UCLA as well. All those teams can play with them. I'm hoping they have a rocky second half that we started.
They legit can lose 3 of those games, and I'm not being cute. They legit could lose 3 of those games. I want no part of Washington or Oregon this year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, those should
not
be,
for me.
Though that's going to be tough matchups for USC for sure. So, hey, I'm with you on this stuff. What else you got on your list there?
I feel obligated somehow to take note of this. Why, Sam? Why did you shave off your beard? No. What is he doing? I'm not a fan. I don't like it. Stop. No.
I am less concerned with the amount of facial hair, and I'm more concerned that offense finds a way to be more operational coming out of the bye. Like, that was big news over the bye. All those pictures hit. There it goes. But I don't care the facial hair. You got to figure out a way to run a better offense. That's where I'm at, okay? Shave it, grow it, have a mullet. I don't care what you do. Make the offense look better. That's why you're here.
Just offering different perspective, and I can't control anything that kid does. I'm just expressing my extreme dismay.
You know what?
Soto Bird told me to shave off that beard.
Maybe I should shave everything, and I should just have a mustache for No Shave November. Maybe I should shave everything, but I should grow a mustache. See how creepy? Like, I'm not already creepy enough. Let's see how creepy I could look.
You are not creepy. Stop. Don't even say that. Don't even say that.
I don't know.
Next thing, very, very excited, and a big congratulations to everyone involved that have paired you with Goolsby for a show. Is it a weekly show?
We're going to do a lot of stuff. So we'll have some of it on the public on YouTube, and then we'll have some of it on Patreon where you're going to have to pay. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. Everybody stay tuned because him and I got something cooking before the Pitt game next week. So everybody stay on board with that. Him and I are meant to be. Like, we have so many similar through lines in our brain. And in small world, after all, he grew up like 20 minutes away from me. It's really kind of ironic. And then we all go through life, and then the Notre Dame connection brings us back. We're kind of meant to be together. And he pushes me in certain ways, and I push him in certain ways. It's really been good. It's pushing me to want to be better at this, and I needed that. It was good.
No, it's great. And you have another thing in common, which is that you are my two new favorite Notre Dame pundit people. So yay for that. I'm excited for both of you.
I appreciate it.
And then my last thing is just a plug for, got to do a plug for our other Irish sports. Men's soccer, who are crushing it. They are the top of the ACC. They are at Wake tonight. Wake is number 3 in the nation, 8:00. And women's basketball, first game, October 30th, 7 p.m. at home. Super excited for this season. Liv is on track to make the court at some point this season. Hannah Hidalgo apparently is a prodigy. And Neil is talking about putting both those women on the court at the same time, which is like having 2 Skylar Digginses on the court at the same time. So everyone be super excited.
That'll be fantastic. And give us some winter sports and stuff to do when the weather's going to turn here as well. Listen, it was really nice catching up with you. That was a very well-rounded little outline you had. And enjoy the bye. There's a lot of good games to watch and things you can hate against tomorrow and everything else. So enjoy it because the stress is coming back. So enjoy this.
All right, dude. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Very nice catching up with you. Oh, man. I love she gets going. $5 holler. John, glad to see you're in good spirits. The bye's doing us good. Can't wait for your new show with Goolsby. It's just fun. And I don't know, man. He has a way of like prodding me to get me to push a little more on things. And then I have a way to get him out of his comfort zone a little bit. It's good. It's good in that way that we have that back and forth. Pat, come on, man. Come on, Pat. Come on, Pat. Don't. You know what you're doing. You're going to get me in trouble. Don't do that. 707, what's going on? And I got a 937-574-859. You guys are all coming up. Not sure the order. Depends on who was in first. 707, good morning. What's going on?
Good morning, John. I'm watching C-SPAN 2 right now. They have the NCAA president and excuse me, and others testify on college athletic compensation.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I just, that's exactly what I need is the American government that can't seem to get on the same page and get it together. Just acting like experts in this too. That's beautiful.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, they already had Swarbrick on there giving his first round of testimony. And so, anyway, it was run on Tuesday, I guess. So this is a tape, but it's on right now. So if you want to chat it in there, want to tape it. But what I'm calling about here this morning is that being that it's a bye week, I started kind of looking ahead. And usually the way you do things with callers is you kind of interview them, ask them the questions. This time, I'm going to try and put a fun exercise yet serious consideration for you in a little game I came up with.
Oh boy!
But it's really an exercise, and you know, being the bye week, I had some time to think about it. So I want to run it across you as well as the chat. I want to participate too because I want to know their opinion.
Interesting.
So what I came up with is in looking ahead to next year, the assistant coaches I kind of have a round robin game of who would you rather see come back. So I'm going to put out a bunch, and I want you to consider, like the position depth and what they've recruited and things like that. So the assistant coach question is kind of a round robin, and who would you rather see come back? So my first round for you is who would you rather see come back, O'Leary or Mickens? And I'm going to write in the answers to kind of wind it down.
I mean, I think Mickens is further down the road of coaching is kind of what the vibe I get. And where I'm going with that is people are taking notice of what Mickens is doing overall and the recruiting and the development. He's a guy that's going to get a DC job at some point, and you just hope Notre Dame doesn't lose him when that point comes. I got to go with Mickens on that one for sure.
Okay. So
yeah,
Mickens,
I do not want Marcus to lose him. That is his road dog. He trusts him. They've been together forever. They're on the same page. He's getting good results. Like, that's a guy that Freeman values that a lot. So I'm going Mickens on that one.
Okay. And now my next one, Gerard Parker or Al Washington?
I mean, they're trending in total opposite directions right now. Al Washington's getting more out of his guys, and Gerard's not getting nothing out of his guys. I'm not going to cry a bit if you... Well, wait a second. Do we have to lose Parker, or can he just go back to being a great tight ends coach? He doesn't have to leave. Just make him be the best tight ends coach in the world.
That's not it. Just who would you rather have come back?
Al Washington, then, at least. I mean, Parker may be... People are saying Parker's a better recruiter, but if this is the offense we're going to get, I don't care who you're recruiting. And he could still recruit for being the tight end coach.
Okay. Next, Joe Rudolph or Chancey Stuckey?
Oh, man, that's getting tough. That's getting tough because is anybody sold on that Rudolph offensive line yet? And then Stuckey.
Well, think about recruiting in depth. Don't forget, recruiting in depth is what they offer, right?
Yeah, that is a tough one. And then you have Chancey's getting more guys, though. I'm telling you, Cam Williams is going to start right away. That's a tough one. Chancey, I guess, but that is kind of a tough one.
Okay, so Stuckey. That was my pick too, by the way.
That's a tough one, though.
Okay, now the last one for coaches: Al Golden, Gino Guidugli.
Oh, man, I love Gino. You're putting me in a bad spot because you know that I have an affinity for Gino. And I know what you're doing, damn it, because you and I have talked about this. And you know damn well how much I like seeing that guy down there. However, Al Golden, if you're going to turn in that kind of performance against USC, even though there's things we complain about, man, if you're going to be on that level, it's hard for me to not pick you. And here's the other thing. Even with the complaints we've had about this defense, they have played good enough football to win every game this year, and they have not been the reason Notre Dame has not. Like, even against Louisville, in a real world with an offense that is out there and doesn't turn it over 90 times and put them all on the field the whole night, they should have been able to win that game. So they're doing enough to win every game. The offense isn't.
So your pick?
Give me Al.
Al Golden. Okay, that's the first round robin. Now, the second round robin. Mickens or Washington? Mickens or Al Washington?
Probably Mickens still, because bigger picture, I see him involved in more things long term. I'm looking down the road on that one.
All right. And then Stuckey or Golden?
Oh, that's so tough. Here's what's tough about that. Stuckey's only responsible for one part of it, and Golden's responsible for the whole defense. So is that fair? Because one of them's involved in a bigger picture operation, so it's more important because it's not one position group.
Well, okay.
Do you get what
That's
I'm
your
saying?
logic. Okay.
That is my logic.
Yeah, I get
like
the logic.
Al's responsible of a bigger part of all this. So it's more important because it's a bigger
And yet,
responsibility.
okay. So your pick would be Stuckey or Golden?
I guess Golden, because it's a more important role, and his group has played winning football every game.
Okay.
Look at you put me on the
So now the
spot.
final. Now the final round robin. Mickens or Golden?
Again, Golden's responsible for a bigger part of this. But the issue is, Golden isn't going to be as... Man, this is a good exercise because I'm finding all these offshoots. Golden's more important, but I don't think he's going to be a longer-term guy. That's the issue. Right now, he's
well, that's what I'm saying.
Right now, he's the man.
Because
of what he did against USC. He threw a shutout. He threw almost a no-hitter against USC. So right now he's the man, but I don't think he's going to be around long-term, whether it goes good or bad or whatever. So that's very tough for me. Very
well, it
tough.
doesn't matter if he's around or not. It's your personal opinion of who you'd rather see come back.
Yeah, he's in charge of an entire unit that's playing winning football every week. Logically, I can't go against that overall. But all of the ancillary things and the big picture things point me the other way, because Mickens is a coach of the future. Golden's a coach of right now, and then he's phasing out. So they're on two different life paths based on where they're at. That's very tough.
But who would you rather have? Who would you rather have come back?
I got to go with Golden because he's in charge of an overall unit that's playing winning football every week. And I need that. So there's where I'll go.
Not only that, but if Golden does leave, Mickens is probably the next choice to step into defensive coordinator.
I would think so
in my
too.
opinion.
I would think so too.
Yeah,
and that would keep him in the fold. Marcus would have his road dog. 937-574. The next two coming up. These are some tricky questions because all these guys are at different parts in their coaching tenure and what they're trying to accomplish. I'm just telling you. Mickens is going to be a DC sometime soon. People are noticing what he's doing in his position group. And Notre Dame, Freeman's going to want to keep him around. I don't know what that's going to take to do, but he's going to want to keep him around.
Okay, well, did you enjoy that?
I did. I like being put on the spot like that. And I like you making me think of these different things and make a decision, weighing all the factors that are not equal. That's a good little exercise. Right. Yeah. Because
I got it.
You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You were setting me up on that because you know there's no easy answers.
Well, I went through it for myself too, so I thought this would be a fun exercise for the chat as well as you.
Telling you.
But I have more now. I have players.
That's a bye week for sure.
That's right. So now I have another round of players, and I want you to think again about position depth and look at who would you rather have come back next year as players. So my first round is, do you rather have Chris Tyree or Watts?
There you go again, man. There you go again. What a fantastic freaking question. What a absolutely fantastic question. Listen, I believe that the secondary is overall in a better place.
It gets harder
now into the future than the offense is. They could really, I think they need Tyree again and that offense to be a stable force. Cause I just feel like that defense is going to be okay without Watts more than I would if you lose Tyree. But again, I hate this question. I like that. I hate that question. People are writing like, I love Tyree, but it's got to be Watts. This is tough, man. You're good at this.
All right. So you're going with Tyree?
I think because I feel that his group needs him more than the secondary needs Watts in this moment. But I'm not. That's a tough one. But that is a tough one.
All right. The next one, Blake Fisher, Mitchell Evans.
Give me Fisher back. I'm confident Notre Dame's tight ends are going to be fine. Give me him back so I'm not losing both the tackles. And also, he just needs to be a little more consistent. Give me him back because I trust Notre Dame's ability to produce tight ends.
Totally agree with that logic. Okay, and then the last one, Estime or Alt?
It doesn't matter. Alt's leaving. I can't let you do that. Alt's leaving. He ain't coming back. Alt's out no matter what. He's out no matter what. Like, that one's gone. He's going. And he's going to go
But
high.
it's your opinion of who would you like. But it's your opinion of who would you like to have come back. That doesn't matter if they're going or not. They're both going. But who would you rather have come back?
Probably Alt.
Ooh.
Probably Alt. And the reason is I'm confident with what we have behind in the other group. And I'm not as much at O-line right now.
All right. So now I'm going to give you a choice of the three that you picked. Who would you rather have come back? Chris Tyree, Blake Fisher, Joe Alt.
Alt, I think. Alt, I think. But it's just, that's the one. He's the best player. He's the best one out of the group, and he's an NFL talent. He's the one I would have because he's the best, most reliable guy, but it's just never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. I want to know, hey, is Blake Fisher coming back? Chat, answer this too. 937, I got you coming up. Is Fisher coming back, or is he going to the league? A lot of people are saying he's not been consistent enough on the upswing this year. Is he coming back?
Yeah, you're putting that to the chat or to me?
Everybody. I don't know, but a lot of people are asking if he's coming back or not. So if he comes back,
I don't think he is.
I
don't think he is, but
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm hearing a lot of he's inconsistent and hasn't been. You would serve him to come back for a year, and it would help Notre Dame then if you aren't losing both of those bookends. So I don't know.
I think he'd be a first round pick if he comes back next year. If he stays another year, but he might be a second round this year.
Yeah.
Okay. So my final, I got one final thing to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Is next year's quarterback, who would you give the starting nod to, not knowing anything yet, but who you want to win?
Man.
Would you want Minchie or Angeli or Carr? Let's put it all three in there.
All right.
Minchie, Angeli, or Carr?
No, wait. I need a fourth answer. There has to be a D. And a D answer is I need to be open to seeing what's in the portal. And I can't fully answer this question before I know what guys are in it and which ones are in it that may have Notre Dame interest and Notre Dame may have interest in them. I'm open to that.
Well,
I'm telling you though, Riley Leonard is an option. People like Minchie, and a lot of people are saying people are underestimating Angeli. A lot of people are underestimating. I have a lot of people telling me Angeli they feel really, really good about. And it doesn't have the flash CJ Carr has and all that. But a lot of people are saying they love the way Angeli could navigate this. I'm just telling you, a lot of people are saying they love Angeli.
Well, it's way too early, right? So it's just, your opinion for next year's quarterback, who would you want at this point to get the starting nod? Minchie, Angeli, Carr.
Oh, who do I want it to be would be Carr, because that means if he's in that mix, see, you're leading the question a little bit, because if I say Carr, the only way that would apply is if he comes in and he looks great and you can't keep him off the field. Like, that would be my pick, because I think he has the most upside with that arm. But it's got to be, if he's in that, it's got to be, he is undeniable. We're blowing a red shirt. We don't care. We think this could really be the guy, and we're willing to roll with him as a true freshman out of high school. But he's got to be at that level. This is where Notre Dame's got to be good on their evaluations. They have to have a really good handle on how they feel about Angeli and where he's at and where he could be, and where these guys are at. And Minchie, they have to have a really tight pulse on where these guys are at to be able to navigate all this before you do the portal stuff and all that. They got to do a good job evaluating this. Gino, our guy, Gino Gaduli, we both like, he's got to be on it. He's got to be on. They have to have a good evaluation here.
Yeah. And that actually comes into play when you're picking those guys, Gaduli over Golden or whatever. But,
yeah,
he's going to be crucial to stay next year in developing these kids. So
exactly.
That's all I got for you, John, though. I don't want
Good
take
for
up a lot of time.
That was cool for the bye week, though. If you're going to do one of those and look at it, the bye week's perfect for that. So thank you for putting me on the spot with that project. And I hope you enjoy your 9 a.m. Big Ten football game tomorrow.
Very much so. All right, John. God bless. Take care. Go Irish, everybody.
Have a good one. Man, he's putting together quizzes. And what am I going to have a Scantron test next week where I just kind of guess? Wasn't there a thing you were supposed to? Does anybody remember Scantron? Am I that old? Almost 40? You know what I'm talking about? The Scantron with the little things? Man, I'm getting old. I'm getting real old. I got a 937 and a 309 going to be the next two. 937, what's going on?
Hey, John, we don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan.
Listen.
We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. This is the Always Irish Show.
I'm taking heat because I put out a tweet last night and it said a few short weeks ago, Notre Dame and Ohio State fans hated each other. And I said, fast forward a few weeks and they still hate each other, but they're combining forces to go make fun of Michigan. And it's the realest thing ever, man. It's the realest thing ever of no, I don't like most of the Ohio State people at all, but I don't like Michigan for sure. It's just perfect, man. Let me ask you this. I do feel like Harbaugh is pissed off the NCAA. They really do seem to be trying to go after him for the hamburger bit. And now this, I don't know what Harbaugh's doing. He's not good at interpersonal dynamics. He has pissed them off. And it's clear to me they're kind of going at him. That being said, I find it hilarious. I understand it's not illegal to steal signs. It is illegal to send people to the opponent's games leading up to you to steal signs. So I don't know what the reality is here, but I'm watching it and I love it. I love the drama. It doesn't involve me.
Yeah, well, this is what I got to say about it. From what I understand, the NCAA is being really driven by Vegas on this, that the desert is pushing the investigation. And it does seem to me what he's doing is highly illegal as far as the rules for college football. And, to me, it's weird. It started in 2001. Michigan's recruiting classes never got it really any better. But all of a sudden their teams are just way better. And we're all saying, well, it's the transfers. Well, transfers, unless they're like an elite quarterback, I don't know how your teams get all of a sudden way better.
Maybe I figured. Look at
USC. They have tons of transfers, and they have not played as good as Michigan.
I kind of figured some of it was the schedule because they played nobody so far, and they do have some talent. But I just think this is really interesting. And then I even saw something coming out of Michigan State that said they were considering not even playing the game after this out of the safety of their and well-being of their athletes. I just think it's great. And I also like that however far Michigan takes this year, now you have that cloud of doubt of it if they did it clean and all that. I love it. I absolutely love that. Can I ask you this? What are you feeling? Michigan's in trouble next year. Whatever happens this year happens, but they're going to lose the majority of all their playmakers and their schedule gets real tough and all those dynamics in the Big Ten change. Is there an opportunity where a Harbaugh bounces with this NCAA trouble, knowing he's losing all of his top end talent is this maybe the year he finally does it?
John, do you want me to make you smile right now? I don't think Michigan fans understand what's happening. And the NCAA is going after them for a lack of institutional control That's what I'm reading from some
come
sources
on.
here.
That's a
And
come on. That
no,
sounds
I'm serious.
bro.
I'm serious.
That's a lot more than you're slapping on the wrist because you gave a brother a cheeseburger and you're not allowed in the dead period. Like that's a lot
they're gonna
different.
tie this into the recruiting thing, and then they're gonna double tie this.
Harbaugh pissed the NCAA. His personality.
Okay, well maybe
I mean he's pissed them. I'm not saying they didn't do things wrong. I'm just saying it's clear Harbaugh's pissed. They're going after him, so I'm here for it. But I didn't know it was getting that big. Come on, man.
Well, so here's the thing: is that if they were, so they supposedly hired a Navy officer to go to opponent stadiums, and I'm not sure about the electronics involved. But to steal the signs, I'm thinking electronics were involved because they took the computer from that Navy officer. They've already taken it. The Big Ten is working in tandem with the NCAA, and that doesn't happen very often.
Wow.
And it's also getting pushed by Vegas. So this is way bigger than people realize. Michigan at the end of next year could have. I think this is possible. Harbaugh will be gone at the end of this season, off to maybe the NFL. I'm not really sure, but that's a possibility.
Well,
but then also,
I can't believe it's to that level, man. I really didn't think it was at that level. Are you sure you're not just creeping on the message boards too much? Like, I didn't realize it was at that extent. I'm being genuine. I didn't know it was at that level. So then what it comes down to for me and my sanity is whatever they're going to do, if they beat you guys or make the play, they can't win a champion. Give me one more year, them not winning it all, and then let it all unravel and I won't have to worry about it again. That's kind of where my thinking is.
So if it's confirmed, so this is what it'll make people, it'll really make people really happy that don't like Michigan, that if this is all confirmed and they've been cheating since 2001, their last 2 wins against the Buckeyes are going to be vacated. There's no way that they're going to have those wins.
Wait, 2001? Wait. 2001?
No, I'm sorry, 2021.
I was like, dude, they've been doing this for 20 years. We're just now getting there.
Yeah. No. Ever since exiting COVID, when they only won 2 games, Jim Harbaugh made a statement saying, "We're gonna try to beat Ohio State by all means or die trying."
Yeah.
So,
well, there you go.
There you go. So
that's going to be really
huge pay cut.
It's going to be really, really interesting, man. Like I didn't know it was at that level. And when I see stuff on Twitter, I don't know what to believe, the veracity of everybody, what they're saying. That would be really, really interesting. Hey, do you want to, I don't know if you're done with that or not. You got any Penn State, Ohio State thoughts? Really good game in the 11 a.m. window. Good test. Yeah.
My thoughts are that what we're going to see on the field is, I think it's going to be a low scoring game, honestly. But as far as who wins, I think it's kind of a coin flip. Seeing what Notre Dame did to USC is giving Ohio State fans a lot of hope for this game. Rightly so, I think. Penn State, they have a really, really great statistics, but they really haven't played anybody that can play offensive football. So that's kind of what everybody's seeing. I think it's going to be a low scoring. I think it's kind of a coin flip. I really don't have a grasp on who's going to win. I do know this. Unfortunately, my sister decided to get married tomorrow, and I have a terrible record when it comes to weddings. So, in weddings and football games. So, it's not looking good for me.
What is wrong with her? What is wrong with, and then she married a guy who doesn't care about football either. Your family's falling apart.
I know, man. It's crazy. And I'm like pretty much jinxed when it comes to wedding dates on big football games. I'm like 1-4.
That's rough. Well, that old thing's cursed to begin with. Anybody getting married on a fall Saturday, you're asking for divorce. I'm sorry. It's a bad start. You can't do it. You're messing up the order of the world getting married on a Saturday in the fall. You have all year. Pick spring. Pick summer. You can't do it. You're jinxing your whole life.
I know, it's crazy, but Okay, well, I'll let you go. Oh, real quick, I just want to congratulate you on the win, though. That was a big win, and I think you always talk about with people watching NBC or why the ratings are so big is that 3 or 4 million of those people are Notre Dame fans, but then the rest are Notre Dame haters. But I'll say this: I think Buckeye Nation is watching and rooting for Notre Dame here on out because
it does make
it's just going to make
it does exactly. It does make sense for them to do so. And listen, I say it again, as much as I dislike the engagement with a lot of your people, I'm obviously picking you guys to beat Michigan. I just am. I did not enjoy dealing with a lot of your folks after our game. At the end of the day, I'm still going to want you to beat Michigan. It just runs that deep for me, my disdain for all of them. And I need them to fail. So that's what I'm looking at, man. Hey, enjoy your game.
Well, they're not going to be stealing signs this year, I guarantee you.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, enjoy the game tomorrow. I know Notre Dame fans are really excited to just have a week to chill out, watch your game, and then all the exciting night games and everything else, man. So thanks for the call. And since you're a mole on the inside, call me back when you get more details on this, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Have a good one, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. Have a good one, buddy. I'm going 309 next. Give me 1 second. Adam with the $5 holler. John, who do you think notified the Big Ten and the NCAA? I don't know. Was it Schiano? Have you guys seen that clip floating around on Twitter of Schiano being interviewed after the first half? I think it was Schiano, right? Coming off the field at halftime, and the sideline girl pulls him aside. What's going on or whatever? And he's going, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And he paused, and then he's like, and there's some really wrong things that are happening here that we know are happening. We need to figure out. Could have been about anything, but it was very bizarre the way he paused and said, there's some stuff that ain't right going on out here. And he looked out of sorts. I don't know. Then there's all sorts of rumors out there that Ryan did. Yeah, Rutgers is the one I'm talking about. That's the footage I'm referencing. People are saying Ryan Day hired a private investigator that used to be an FBI guy to go chase Michigan's people doing this, and that it's a retired FBI guy that Ohio State hired to put this case together. Bro, I love it. If it is, I love it. I doubt that happened, and there's no way that's true, but it makes me laugh to think of Ryan Day being on the grind, hiring an FBI guy. You got to go find what they're doing. Anything bad that happens to Michigan, 5 hairs grow back in my head. My 5 head turns into a 4 head again. It moves down. The hair comes back. It's freaking amazing. 309, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Happy bye week.
I'm telling you, I needed it very much. I needed it. I needed to let my mind and just everything calm down. It has been a grind the last month. We needed the bye.
Everybody did. Well, I just have bye week is when I allow myself to think a little bit more big picture. So I'll leave you with a couple of my big picture thoughts and I'll just listen. So, well, first of all, that Ohio State fan threw me off because I really grew to hate Ohio State fans this year. And now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, maybe they're okay.
Do you want to know what's weird about that? That's how I feel too. Because after the Ohio State buildup and then right after, those people were killing me. I mean, I was getting nailed from every angle and they were relentless. And I had a lot of animosity to them. Now that we're a few weeks down the road, I still have animosity towards them, but a lifetime of animosity towards Michigan. The last 2 years of having to interact with Ohio State people that hate us is nothing compared to my 35 years of hating Michigan with every fiber of my being. I'm sorry. I'm going to fall on that side of it when the dice fall down, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I will just say for me personally, these last 2 years have been enough to where and again, you can disagree with me, but I'm rooting for Ohio State over Michigan.
Me too. And it doesn't mean I like Ohio State. It just means my hatred for Michigan runs deeper for more personal reasons. And I'm not coming off that. It's not, It's not like I'm best friends with Ohio State. It's just that I hate Michigan that many levels deeper. And I wish them nothing but the worst every week. Sorry, I just do.
Yeah, I want to see. Well, I want to see this crumble. I want Harbaugh to go to the NFL, and I want Michigan to turn into Purdue. That's what I want.
I want him to get sick of dealing with all this stuff, and then I need it to happen, man. I just do. And so I don't know. I mean, it bothers me. I don't like either of them. And then the other interesting thing, you're talking about crumbling, people leaving. The USC thing's getting really interesting too. There are already rumors that Lincoln's testing the NFL waters, talks of Lincoln and Caleb going together to whoever the first pick is, which would probably be my hometown team, by the way. It'd probably be the Bears because they have their number one pick and the Panthers, and those are two of the worst teams. I think the Bears could be in that position. Rumors about how Caleb Williams carries himself and handles things down. There's a lot going on here, and for the bye, it's perfect for me. No stress this week. Just watch it all burn.
Well, John, what my two big picture ND thoughts are, isn't it kind of funny that, as ND fans, many people were clamoring for Golden to get canned, and then now everybody's like, oh, no, we need to keep him around. We need to keep him around.
Yeah, it's amazing what one great night can do for you, right?
Yeah.
And the other, but wait, here's the other thing though, man.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, even with the frustrations, the defense has played well enough. Notre Dame could be in a position to win every game. That includes Ohio State, obviously. And even against Louisville, I will say, if you didn't turn the ball over 80 times and go 3 and out the other 80 times and had the defense out there all night, maybe things could have been different. I don't put all that on the Notre Dame defense. The offense totally put them in a bad spot all night. They didn't play great against Louisville, but with a representative offensive performance, Notre Dame could have easily won that game. So that defense, there are little complaints here or there, but overall, all you could ask from a defense is every game you play, they do good enough that you're in a position to win it. The defense has done that. The offense has not.
Right. I mean, every great Notre Dame team for the last, every great Notre Dame team in recent history, it's been defensive led.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. And if you're like me,
I'm kind of tired of that. But
if you're like me, you're starting to think if Notre Dame in this modern playoff era really wants to be a true legitimate contender, that defense needs to stay good, but that offense needs to pick it up. And we wanted to see it be this year with Hartman and all that. We're 8 games in, and I'm not seeing that trend. So Notre Dame's, they still have problems on offense. They're still nowhere near good enough.
Right. And my other big picture question I'll leave you with and I'll listen is what's somebody kind of already talked about this, but like the 24 season at quarterback, right? Like what's the ideal scenario? But I'm hearing rumblings that they are for sure going to be seeking a transfer next year. So I'll hang up and listen, but I didn't know what you've been hearing about the 24 quarterback situation.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for the call, man. I will love to address that. Thank you for the call and enjoy the bye. All right. I don't know what that beep was. Here's the deal with those quarterbacks. Notre Dame needs to navigate this right. They cannot mess it up. They need to select right. Whatever path they pick for next year has to be right. James, I got you coming up. Thanks for the donation. You got to nail it. Like, that's the thing. Your evaluations have to be spot on, and you have to have a realistic outlook on who is where and what they could do. You need to have a clear profile on Angeli and his development and where he is, what the high level of Angeli is, where the basement floor is. You also have to have an idea of Minchie's development. Somebody has to have an idea on Carr. Where is he? He, to me, has to be heads and shoulders above everybody else to run him in there as a freshman, blow that red shirt, get him going. But if he has the arm talent and the decision-making and the processing that says that, You got to do it, and then I'm fine with it. But you can't do it and be wrong. That's the issue. You can't do that and be wrong. So their evaluations have to be spot on. I would argue that no matter who, if they like Angeli or whatever, fine. You still got to look into the portal. It doesn't have to be public. Go to Riley Leonard if you're interested in him. Do a bunch of back channel shit. See who's interested. And if you need to go that way, you can. But the evaluations here matter. And they're the biggest part of this. You have to have a really accurate picture of where all these guys are at. You need it. And I trust Gino to maybe be the one that I don't know if I trust Parker with anything. I trust Gino to have an idea where those quarterbacks are at, and that he's going to say, Marcus, here's the deal. We could run with this or we can't. But it's a big decision again with all these young guys piling up behind that. With Deuce and with Carr and all that, like you're going to have a real competition here. So, but you got to know what you're going to do. 574, thanks for the donation. What's going on? 845 coming up next. What's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are things going in South Bend, Indiana today, my friend?
It's kind of dark. It's kind of gloomy today, but there's a big hockey game tonight. I hear there's this guy named Macklin Sabelian who's supposed to be the #1 pick in hockey next year.
Wow.
On Boston University.
Look at this, man. We get the Notre Dame callers, and they're pumping up the other sports, everything. We got this going on. So are you enjoying the bye? I needed a break personally. Did you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially after, I don't know, we've been playing since August, so we definitely needed a break. I mean, I don't know who put up the schedule, but that was a bad idea to play college football games all the way from August to now.
Brutal.
I mean, they're starting football playoffs right now.
Yeah, it was really tough. And I do think that Notre Dame's got a good opportunity to go 10-2, but they got to do the right things. You have two game windows here, and you just need to navigate them both correctly. Come out of the bye ready for Pitt, trending up, and then play good against Clemson, have a better offense. Then you get another bye to reset for that final stretch. It's all there for Notre Dame to end 10-2, but they got to do things the right way.
Yep, I mean, it's pretty easy now. I mean, you got to get ready for these next two games, which is Pittsburgh. I mean, and then you got to get ready for the big one against Clemson, and then you get a bye week, and then you play another team in Wake Forest, Sam Hartman's old team, Wake Forest, and then you play Stanford in California.
Yep. So it's going to be really interesting. But Notre Dame, to me, fans are not okay with 9-3 this year. With Hartman, it was expected to be more. I think 10-2 is the lowest amount that fans are going to feel decent about. Like you're having upward progress. Like, do you agree with that? I don't think fans are going to be fulfilled with 9-3 at all. I think it's got to be this 10-2. And you had the Louisville trip up. So now you have no choice. You got to run this 4-0. I know Death Valley's tough. You got to win there anyways.
I know you got to win the next 4 because otherwise you're not going to get in a playoff 6 bowl game. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the Capital One Bowl, whatever the bowl game. Somebody tell me which bowl game is in Orlando, but I don't want to end up in Orlando again.
It's the Mickey Mouse Bowl at Universal Studios or something. I don't know. Like
exactly.
Let's
just call it the Mickey Mouse Bowl.
Yeah, or it might be Kelly's Camping World Bowl again, and we can all celebrate that. You know, all the eyes of America are on you for the Camping World Bowl. The winner gets a tent. You get to go sleep in the woods. Like come on. But 10-2 would be a really good bounce back after the way those 2 losses were so tragic and painful. If you could wrap that thing up with a big winning streak on the back end, a big win over Clemson, 10-2, then you could actually feel like, all right, I see where this thing's going, but there's a few issues that have to be ironed out. That's got to be the goal.
I mean, you got to get through these 4 games, and then you got to figure out who's going to be sitting out the bowl game, because I think Hartman will sit out the bowl game because he's going to go to the NFL.
I have been asking myself, if Notre Dame's 10-2 ends up in a New Year's Six game, but it is not a playoff game, which it's not going to be. Does Hartman play in that game? It's a fair question because his whole thing was coming to get ready for the NFL. If you're in a game that isn't even a playoff game, are his advisors going to say, why are you doing this? Go to the draft. Or is he going to play because he needs the reps and wants to put more on film? I don't know the answer. I'm just throwing it out there what the options are. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't really know the answer. Personally, I would probably sit out the bowl game because, I mean, don't want to get injured playing a bowl game.
Right.
What was the guy who got injured in the Fiesta Bowl a few years ago?
We don't want to have another one of those Jalen
situations.
Smith against Ohio State got his ACL shredded and it screwed up his draft.
Yeah,
it screwed up his whole career because he had that one dumb thing that happened in that last game. And he's the one who started this rest out bowl game thing. He's the one who invented it. Man, it's really frustrating. And then here, let me ask you this, coming out of the bye, I'm really struggling with this. How much improvement is reasonable to expect from the Notre Dame offense coming out of the break? I know the fans all say, and I have talked about all week, get into the bye, work on your offense, come out better, blah, blah, blah. How much improvement is realistic to expect against Pitt? I'm asking you that question.
I mean, you should be able to win by the same amount you beat USC by. I mean, Pitt's worse than USC. Let's be honest with ourselves here.
They better be, yeah. So,
I mean, you should be able to win by at least the amount of margin you beat USC by, if not more.
I want to see it, and here's the other part of it. I know this isn't technically accurate, but it's kind of how I feel. We talked about building a ramp into Ohio State with momentum and vibes and how you're feeling and having the offense in rhythm and you're just trending in that direction, moving along. I also look at this stretch out of the bye the same way. I need you to come out of the bye rejuvenated, have the offense trending back up after Pitt into Clemson, and have that defense be pretty darn good, which I want to get every week now, and I expect that to be the expectation every week. But I'm building this in together. I want to see Notre Dame's offense showing signs of life against Pitt, trending back up. That'd make me feel a lot better heading into Clemson, going to Death Valley.
For sure. I want to see them put away Pittsburgh at halftime and then starting jelly in the second half. Same game plan for Tennessee State.
Yeah. Yeah, it's somebody put in here. When are we going to see the Always Irish Bowl? I'm going to sponsor that bowl, and wherever game Brian Kelly's in is the one that it's going to be. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow that guy around just to bother him. It's the Always Irish Bowl is the sponsor wherever Kelly goes from now on. How about that?
Yeah, maybe it would be funny if we played LSU in a bowl game. That would be so great.
I am seeing people saying, as we sit right now, and we have 2 losses, there are people that are saying that could be on the ledger coming up. So I don't know. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for touching base on a bye week.
I mean, it's good to talk to you, John. I mean, all I'm going to say is hope Notre Dame hockey wins tonight and hope the players enjoy their week off because next week's going to be another cold one, it looks like.
Yeah, man, they needed that week off. I hope those guys are feeling rejuvenated in their mind, body, and soul. And I genuinely mean that. It's been a grind. Thanks a lot, my friend. And keep being a good steward of the university. I know you're proud of working there and you work hard to represent the values. Good job. Have a good weekend.
You too, John.
Take care. Oh, man. What was I going to say? The Pepto-Bismol Bowl. Tell you what, man, any game Notre Dame's in is the Pepto-Bismol Bowl for me. Stress, man. Notre Dame stress. It'll get you. It'll get you. And you know what I struggle with? 845, you're coming up. Here's what else I really struggle with is I sit there and I go, all this Notre Dame stuff happens. Bizarre shit happens, just weird stuff that I don't see across, and then we end up in it. And I really do wonder, it's like, I feel like a lot of dumb stuff happens to Notre Dame a lot. And I just wonder, does this happen to other teams too? Or is it just that I'm so Notre Dame focused. I only notice all the dumb shit that happens to us. Does everybody else have this drama and all this roller coaster wild and all that? Everybody has it, but is it to the extent we get it with Notre Dame? Because it feels extreme year in and year out. It just does. Roger Dodger. USC should charge Johnny for all the smiles. Roger, I love you, man. You're here for all of my stuff. You're here at night. You're here in the morning. You're here a lot, and I really appreciate your support. I got to admit, I'm genuinely really enjoying all of that everything's not perfect for Caleb and Lincoln, and they're getting some tough questions. They have a tough schedule coming up. I'm loving the hell out of it. You add in Jim Harbaugh and a scandal, and I'm here for it. I'm sorry. I'm here for that stuff. It's like, do you know how many times I'll have a college football take and somebody will say, John, that's so petty. And then my response is, yeah, you're damn right. So what? So what? Yeah, I'm petty when it comes to trolling USC and Michigan. So what? I admit it. I'm a 39-year-old troll when it comes to them on Twitter, and I don't regret it. I admit it openly. I don't care. It's fun. Is John allowed to have a little fun, or do I just have to sit there and only stress out? Let me have a little fun. 845, make the phones come alive. What's going on?
Johnny, how are you, sir?
I'm going to be honest with you. Not that I wouldn't anyways. I honestly feel a little rejuvenated. I needed a week out of that game routine of stress and worry and content obligations and all that. I needed this off time, and I am feeling a little more replenished, like the batteries are filling back up, charging back up, and I hope the team is feeling that way too. But I personally admit I needed this.
Yeah, man, I agree. So I'm Tim, TexND in the chat. We met at the tailgate.
Yeah.
Time. Man, it's crazy because one, the bye week needed, but two, it's funny because everybody's talking about being halfway through the season. Meanwhile, we're 3 quarters through ours, right? So because we've had so many games and we got 2 more bye weeks coming up, so we only got 4 more games left, man. Like the season's coming to its conclusion pretty quick, but I'm happy for the bye week for sure.
But isn't that bizarre? All summer you're like, oh, you're crossing the days off the calendar. Like, just give me college football. It's the dog days of summer. We need all that drama. Like, give us college football. Then when you get in it and you don't have a bye till week 9, once you're in it, it goes right by like it was 1 week and you have 8 games under your belt already. It's wild how you get sucked into that weekly routine, and before you know it, you have 8 games done already. It snuck by me.
This season has moved really, really quick, and I'm not quite sure if it's the season itself or it's just me getting older, because they said, let's say like things move faster as you age. But really the real reason for the call today is, man, I had to call in just in a public setting and just eat some humble pie, man, because let me tell you, I was down after Louisville, and I thought there was no way that we were beating USC with the way we were tackling and our offense and all that stuff. So, man, the way that Freeman had them just pumped up and the way we just destroyed USC was awesome. So, like I said, I had to call in and just eat some humble pie, because I was certainly in the chat being like, "Hey, man, there's no way we're winning this game. I don't see it. I was worried about it, and yeah, I'm glad that we were able to win that game in the fashion that we did. It says a lot in terms of Freeman and winning some big games. If we get that consistency for some of the smaller games, we should be pretty good. But I think ultimately, I think what happened at Louisville, I think we were looking forward to USC because that's the game that everybody wanted. That was the revenge game, the fingernail game, like all that stuff. So, I'm glad we won it out. But like I said, definitely have to eat some humble pie for that one.
And the other part is, it was just exactly what was needed at the exact right time. How often do you say Notre Dame delivers exactly what you need at the exact right time to give you what you need? And they did it. And it was, and listen, we would have been thrilled if they won it by a field goal at the end. But the way that they've now blown out two of these teams in back-to-back years, Clemson last year and now this one, that hits different. It sends a different message. It gives you a thought that there really is more room on the high end of what could be accomplished here if you keep developing. It was exactly what we needed.
Yeah, the only thing I hate is last year we beat Clemson and everybody's talking about how it was a down Clemson team. All of a sudden we beat USC and everybody's talking about how Caleb Williams is trash and USC is garbage and all this stuff. So I don't want to root for USC, but I hope they come out and they play great because again it just makes us look better. Same thing with some other teams. Like I hate rooting for them, but the teams that we played, they got to continue to be strong because nobody gives Notre Dame credit. No matter if we win, it's because of the other team. If we lose, it's because we're terrible. You know what I mean? We can't win for anything.
No, that is, Goolsby was yelling about that the other day, and he was going, why is it that all the media is about how USC fell off, what they're doing wrong? Is Caleb Williams that good? What went wrong with them? And there's not a lot of national guys going, oh yeah, by the way, what about Notre Dame's credit for holding him to his lowest numbers of his entire career? What about that in a rivalry game? I don't see any credit for that. Now, would Notre Dame get more if they didn't already have two losses? Maybe. But they're not getting a lot of credit. It turns into what they did wrong instead of what we did right or forced them to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm used to it. We've been kind of getting that for a while. I will give a shout out though, and I will say, Golden and everybody takes a lot of heat from Notre Dame fandom, but Golden in terms of what he did and the game plan that he had, and really the biggest flip. And if you want to talk about Golden, what he does, what he doesn't do, you remember what our ranking was in red zone defense last year, and it was terrible.
It was
second from the last.
It was literally, I think, second to last in the entire country. And the defense overall was pretty good. It made no sense at all. It made no sense.
And this year we're top 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what else they're actually good at? You know what else is flipped? If you want to stick with the red zone, you know what else is flipped? Offensively, Notre Dame was not great at converting red zone chances into touchdowns last year. And this year, they're a lot better at it. And so they're doing that. Now, there are issues between the 20s and moving the ball big picture, but they've actually done a much better job on offense in the red zone as well. And those are the money areas. So, good job on that. They've improved in both of those. Man, my brain, now that we're getting back into kind of game mode, I want to know what's realistic to expect that offense to get better with. Like, I really want to, I don't know what's realistic to expect, but they need to be better.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Parker comes out with. Obviously establishing the run. Man, when you look at statistically where we were the first 4 games versus the last 4 games, it is a stark difference. But I'm going to agree with you on a point that you made the other day. And I do not think that Hartman has been the same since he rolled his leg back during the Central Michigan game that we were all at. I really do believe that he's been nursing that since that day.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I almost flipped off the back of that stadium. I was right there for it in that end zone. It was the week before I almost lost it. And I'm just telling you, maybe I'm traumatized from seeing his leg move like that. He hasn't thrown the ball the same ever since then to me. And I know they played 4 better teams or whatever. I'm not saying there's a connection. I'm just saying that is a clear dividing line of me of when that offense started to trend backwards. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, man. Because again, I was there. I think we all collectively gasped at the same time while being at that game and seeing that. So I know you got other callers, and we're trying to be more efficient with this call. But I will say this, man. I really don't think we need to hit the portal again for QBs. We need to start kind of taking care of our own. And if we got Mich and we have Carr and then we have Deuce coming in, we got to really start working with this talent, or the talent's not going to want to come here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Man, I'm with you though. I'm with you though. Overall, you need to eventually find a young guy, hitch your wagon to him. Know you have him for a while. Let other things build around it. that is a much more stable path for Notre Dame. But you got to make sure if you're going to hitch your wagon, it's got to be to the right guy. And so there's a lot of big decisions that are coming up for Marcus again here. OC, what are you going to do with that big picture? And then they need to be perfect at their evaluations of these quarterbacks, because you cannot mess this all up. If you mess this up, you're going to lose some of those guys, and then you might even not have like the guy you have. You got to nail that. It's got to be done right. It's a big part of the success of the Freeman era is him nailing this. You got to figure it out and get it right.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at what we've done, right? Cone was serviceable, but we weren't winning anything major. I think when all is said and done, we're going to look back on Hartman and say that he was probably serviceable. I think statistically wise, I think Cone might have him beat a little bit as it sits right now. But again, I think we're going to look back on Hartman and say it was serviceable. We really need to kind of put our money and our development into, like the Minchies, the Angelis, Cars, Deuce Knight, like all that stuff. And let's just get over this, because history is saying it's not worth it. And if they're good enough where they're so amazing, then they probably should be in the NFL. Let's work on the guys that we got coming in, because they do have some talent. And I think we need to work on that. Lastly, I'll say this. John, man, the Kennedy, I've been saying in my mind, Kennedy and the captain stuff, dude, I love it. You and Goolsby, I think it's awesome. I'm glad to see you expanding out. I see more Always Irish stuff in more places, the merch store, you being on Blue and Gold, like I said, you doing the Patreon things, all that, man. Just kudos to you for continuously growing the brand.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. It's all a process, and then you kind of build in, get stable in one thing, build something else. And like, this was the next step with it. And I'm thrilled. And to have a guy that has player credibility that I can work with, bounce stuff off of. And it's just great. And so that we have a lot of stuff planned. We have ideas. There are things coming up. We'll get there, and some of it won't be till next year. We have a lot of ideas people are going to like. And so thank you for the kind words, my friend. I really appreciate that. Thanks for noticing all those things I'm trying to get going.
Absolutely. John, have a good one. Always a pleasure, sir. We'll talk soon.
Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Man, people are giving me crap for taking one Friday night off. You guys, think about it. We have all these night games in a row, and then there goes Friday night, and then all Saturday night. Like, I need one night to go to my kids' school and do the trick-or-treat thing. They got the all set up, haunted, and you get candy at different places and all. I need to just go do some family stuff. I need that. It'll be good for me, all right? Let me go scare some little kids. Not with me yelling about football. Let me go scare some little kids and, go trick-or-treating here tonight. Everybody needs to have a little break. We need to have a little break. Jaded. Somebody commented on YouTube that John isn't as flamboyant as he used to be. Telling you what, I don't know what videos you're watching, but it wasn't anything after the Louisville game or anything after the Ohio State game or anything of me celebrating the USC game. Oh, man. Not as flamboyant. I almost had a stroke 48 times in the last month. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Don't feel bad for Armin, though. He got a nice NIL deal. Yeah, he did for sure. He did for sure. Like, if you think that Armin didn't get a lot of money to come here, you're wrong. He did. It's just not something Notre Dame's going to make public. He did. He ended up with good money. So I don't know, you guys. This is going to be, we're in the final grind. We're in the final grind. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of these super chats here. Yeah, $2 holler there, James. Works at Notre Dame. Always good to keep the place in line. The $5 holler from Adam. ND Gal with the $10 holler. We got quiz today. Everything was cooking. All right, you guys, that's going to be it. I got a couple things I got to do. It's weird with the bye. I have things I need to rearrange and get set up for the back end of this season. A couple articles to write. The phone lines have not been popping as much this week. It's the bye, and I had a lot of people tell me they need it. A lot of people need it. Actually, Mark, that's another idea. Mark said he's going to call tonight anyways just to do it. I'm going to start doing a voicemail segment where you guys can leave voicemails on the phone line. Happy, sad, mad, glad, funny, angry, drunk, funny, whatever you want to do. And then I'll play the best ones on the air. So I want you guys to just start calling, because you can call that number even when the show's not live, and it'll say Always Irish Radio offline, leave a message. Yell at me, do a funny skit, whatever you guys want to do. I think this is going to be a funny segment where you guys just make your funny voicemails and I will play the best ones. And the reason I like that is if you guys cross the line or anything, then it won't be public. It's not like doing it on the air. So I have full control to make sure they're appropriate when I check them. So I think that would be fun. And so that's what we're going to do. And then one other thing, Pat, I got to thank Pat. I know some people give him crap. We go back and forth, man. He's a good friend, and I owe Pat the world. He's had my back for about 20 years on everything I'm trying to do. And I really do appreciate a lot of effort by Pat on the back end of all this stuff, keeping me going, trying to keep up on everything. A lot of effort from him over the years to support me. So I do appreciate that. But that'll be it. I'm recording with Goolsby in a little bit here. We'll get some of that out on Patreon next week. Have in your minds maybe a digital tailgate party with John and Goolsby on YouTube here leading into the game. Would anybody be interested in that? Like leading right up to the start of the Notre Dame game, having me and Mike on here, cracking a couple lids, maybe having a little tailgate vibe. I'm just throwing that out there. Nothing's for sure, but I'm just saying that might be something we're looking into doing next week. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trolling me. Everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy the bye while you got it.